I have to present a few suggestions for policy. So I think there is a lot of unrest in Jharkhand as regards unemployment. There are various industries. It is a mineral-rich state, but somehow there is also large-scale unemployment in the state.
Those issues are all known to us.
Yes, sir.
Suggest us some specific ideas or steps which the government should take to improve the overall situation of the state.
So I think skilling could be one way forward. With skilling, I mean that even in higher education, we should have skilling. Higher education would entail higher levels of skills. In new education policies, such programs are being implemented in higher educational institutions. Jharkhand has a lot of tourist potential also. The city in which I am working in Ranchi, it has a lot of unexplored tourism potential. I think that can also be explored for the development of Jharkhand. And also, sir, there are some bottlenecks like the Chota Nagpur Tenancy Act, the Santhal Paragana Act, because of which development is not taking place as it should have in an industrial state like Jharkhand. So if we could find out a way in which tribal rights are also safeguarded and land can also be put to productive uses, then that would be one.
Okay. What do you mean by ethanol blending?
So ethanol blending is a process. Ethanol is made from sugar, molasses, sir. Blending of ethanol blending with petrol means mixing it with petrol, 80-20 ratio. Sir, for two reasons precisely. One, it will lower the pollution which is happening as a result of usage, and the other is, sir, it will also reduce our imports of crude oil from other countries. 85% of our oil comes from outside. So it will also be an import reduction, and we can put our waste, agri-waste, to productive usage.
How it helps us in controlling air pollution?
So considering a case where there is 100% petroleum usage, and considering a case in which 80% petrol and 20% ethanol is there. So, sir, the amount of exhaust, which will have these pollutants will be lesser in case of ethanol blended petrol.
Good. What are the challenges involved in it?
So, right now we are facing, very recently, the government stopped the diversion of sugar for ethanol production. So, sir, a lot of it depends upon the production of sugar A, the international and domestic demands B, because, sir, when the prices are fluctuating, then our priority is upon making sugar rather than diverting it for ethanol. So, there are certain other implications also which are there for ethanol production.
Thank you.
Yes.
Akanchha, you are basically from Ranchi, or you are working in Ranchi?
Working in Ranchi, sir.
And you've been staying in Varanasi?
So for the past 2 years.
Okay, so there is a handicraft museum in Baralalpur. What is the handicraft museum all about?
So the name of the museum is Deen Dayal Hastkala Sankul. So it was made by the government with the help of the Tatas. The idea is to showcase the products of the entire state of Uttarakhand, be it under ODOP scheme, one district, one product, or, sir,
of Uttarakhand?
Sorry, I'm so sorry, sir. Uttar Pradesh, sir. And also it also showcases various handicraft products from across the country. So it is an initiative for better marketing of these products in that museum, sir.
Okay. There happens to be this Varanasi constituency is also very famous because, of course, our Prime Minister is representing that constituency. So could you please tell me what has changed because he has been representing, he's of course India's one of the most, you can say, he's one leader who is representing India at a global level. Of course, to his fame, most of the things have been credited. But what has changed in Varanasi? My question to you is, since 2014.
Sir, Varanasi, we are seeing developments of different types. For instance, the Kashi Vishwanath corridor, which was developed, sir, very recently, it has led to greater tourism. The tourism potential has increased. From 50 lakh footfalls, we are having now close to 5 crore tourists, national and international, in Kashi. The other is, sir, the traffic situation has improved because of the construction of ring road across the city.
Are you sure about that? Traffic situation has increased, or maybe there are more people are coming, maybe the tourists are now coming to Varanasi, and Varanasi is now becoming one of the hotspots of congestion today. So practically that was my question, that how would you rationalize, or what advice you would like to give to the government, that because of course we are targeting something called spiritual tourism in India. So what should be the advice from your end to the government, if you would be asked that this particular cities, especially the cities which are considered to be the hotspot, what should be done in the sense to decongest or the traffic, or maybe how would you rationalize the traffic management in the case, please?
So as I was saying, sir, the ring road which I'm talking about, it is made on the outskirts of the city. So basically, it is giving a connectivity from the place that you mentioned, Bada Lalpur. From there, you can go to the ancient city hub, that is Kashi Vishwanath BHU area. So I think the congestion in Varanasi is there because it's an ancient city. So we have lots of lanes and small narrow alleys. But sir, what we can do is we can recommend the government that instead of big heavy vehicles, only rickshaws etc. can ply in the ancient in the area of the ancient city. Also, sir, we can advise for homestays rather than hotels and these which are there in the adjoining areas of the temple premises. If we can go for homestays, and if we can have a decentralized mechanism, for instance, the tourist hubs can be a little outside of the city with better transport connectivity.
Okay, so coming on to the second question, MPhil, of course, you did your MPhil. MPhil is also in news. Now, you might have seen that UGC have, of course, directed universities not to further take any admissions in the context of MPhil. Now, what is your stand in this case?
I think, sir, I'm a little biased person because I myself have done MPhil over here. So, sir, just after I got my degree, MPhil in the new education policy was termed as redundant. On one front, I agree because, sir, a lot of time is, I shouldn't use the term, but it is felt that a lot of time is wasted in terms of a preliminary research degree which we get. But I think it also equips us better for a PhD because, sir, the literature survey and we are taught these things, research method at MPhil level. So our PhD time, it reduces because we have done a lot of practice beforehand. But yes, in terms of the number of years which are spent for research, I think MPhil made the process more longer. So PhD
that means you are in the favor of, I mean, this particular degree is of no use right now. That is what you are trying to say?
So overall, I think we cannot answer it in binaries, but overall, I think if we have a stronger master's degree program in which research method and these subjects are covered.
There are apprehensions related to API also. There are apprehensions, of course. What about those students who have already done this particular course? Are they, I mean, not going to suffer with this particular decision?
No, sir, because the students who have done MPhil till 2022, their API marks of 7 marks will be included.
Excellent. Okay. Now, my last question to you, Akanksha, that since you are basically from Jawaharlal Nehru University and you are, of course, have taken geography as an optional, there happens to be Parthasarathi rocks in JNU. Now, could you please tell me the geographical relevance of Parthasarathi rock?
So, the Parthasarathi rocks is one of the highest points, is the highest point of Delhi. Also, sir, the rocks is made up of ancient igneous formation. We have granite, gneiss and schist. These rocks are there. And sir, the area also has some natural vegetation which are true for semi-arid area of Punjab, of Haryana and the Aravalis.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Akanksha.
Thank you, sir.
Akanksha.
Yes, ma'am.
Akanksha, you are a teacher. Can you tell me how is National Education Policy 2020 different from all other national education policies that we've had?
Ma'am, the National Education Policy is different in its emphasis on multidisciplinary education. It is different in terms of its emphasis on skills, which seems to be a large focus of the policy. And thirdly, ma'am, it allows a flexibility. For instance, we can have a 2-year degree, diploma, 3-year degree, 4-year specialization, and so on. So it is designed to cater the diverse needs of students.
Is it catering any kind of research needs of academics as well?
Yes, ma'am, because in the 4th year of the degree, a large focus is put upon research projects and field-based learning.
Okay. Akanksha, let's say you are invigilating an exam in college and you find a student cheating in the exam. What will you do in that situation?
Ma'am, this has happened because a routine part of our job is to invigilate. Ma'am, at the first instant, I give them a warning that because, yes, ma'am, at the first instance, I ask them that, okay, this is not how you should sit for an exam, so please behave yourself. The next time if I find them doing the same thing, then I confiscate their...
But why would you just merely give a warning the first time, you know?
Ma'am, actually a lot of transition has taken place in my own self once I joined this college, because initially I used to be harsh. But then, ma'am, there are students who are battling a lot of things in their personal lives also, and this was told to me by my principal, that you can't take such a harsh time to cancel that person's paper. You have to understand that he's working 8 hours a day and he's also trying to study. So be a little more empathetic in your approach towards them.
Okay, Akanchha, can you tell me what are the challenges that India faces in becoming a 5 trillion economy?
Ma'am, there are various challenges. The first is, ma'am, we need the growth rate at which our GDP is growing, around 6% right now. It has to increase to about 8%. And agriculture per se, which has the largest workforce, has to increase by more than 12%. That is one challenge. The other is, ma'am, that the other challenge is that we have to grow richer before we grow older. That is to say that our demographic dividend, the window is quite short. By 2045, the Indian population will start aging. So we have a short span of window in which we have to have excessive growth, after which our population will age. So that will be a challenge. And third is, ma'am, inequality. Inequality also I perceive as a challenge, which can help us, which can restrain us from becoming a developed nation.
Okay, I see you have interest in letter writing. Can you tell me the last letter that you wrote to somebody?
The last letter I wrote to my friend on her birthday.
Okay, and did you use Indian Postal Network to send it? How did you send it across?
Ma'am, I wrote the letter and I gave it to her by hand.
Okay. Tell me how social media is impacting letter writing these days. A new form of letter writing, open letters on social media are coming up. What is your opinion on that?
Yes, ma'am. A new method of letter writing in terms of putting it out on social media is coming up. I think it, ma'am, I'm open to such kind of innovation because it helps us reach a wider audience. And sometimes our letter may be directed to one particular person, but the matter may be of concern to different sections of people.
Isn't this sensationalization of communication which should happen between two people?
I agree, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Akanksha, you have received a Green Revolution certificate by UNFCCC. What is this certificate about?
Ma'am, in our college in Miranda House, this was this initiative by UNFCCC. So they had given us, there was this scheme in which we had to participate in an activity regarding environmental preservation, and the other was to sit for an exam based on some study material. So as part of this exercise, in the activity part, we were supposed to sell jute bags at very high prices, although, so it was difficult for us to find buyers at those prices, and then we had to send the money back to UNFCCC, and we had to sit for an exam simultaneously, ma'am.
Okay. As a convention, what have been the achievements of UNFCCC since its inception?
Ma'am, the UNFCCC has been effective in terms of bringing up various conventions, like, ma'am, the COP that we are seeing.
Okay, that's just Conference of Parties. That's an annual meeting thing that is happening. I'm talking about achievements. What has it achieved in so many years since 92?
I'm bringing out these various protocols like a Kyoto Protocol, Montreal Protocol, then the...
Montreal is under UNFCCC? Okay, anyway, continue.
Look up, ma'am.
Yeah, continue.
Ma'am, the UNFCCC is useful in terms of the fact that it sets up the deadlines, but ma'am, I'll have to look it up, ma'am.
Okay, no problem. What has been the latest COP of UNFCCC?
Ma'am, it has been in Dubai, COP28.
Okay, and what have been the achievements or takeaways from the COP?
The first achievement, ma'am, has been in the operationalization of loss and damage fund. The other has been in terms of ma'am, climate finance. We have not been able to agree on a particular definition, so that is one roadblock, I feel. Also, ma'am, we have come up with a document which says a global stocktake document, which says that the world needs to transition away from fossil fuel.
Exactly, is this a global stocktake or GST, since you have brought it up?
Basically, ma'am, it's an assessment of what all has been achieved, what all is left to achieve, where do we stand as of
And,
now.
what is the time period when it is brought out?
A time period.
Yes. After how long is it brought out?
Ma'am, this was the first global stock take, and the second is going to take place in 2030 as far as I can recollect.
Okay, just check it out.
Okay, ma'am.
You're from Jharkhand, and there has been this Jharkhand Jangal Bachao Andolan. What is that?
Ma'am, precisely, I'll check it up, ma'am. I'm not sure.
Okay, no problem. Can you tell me, since you got that Green Revolution certificate, what have been the impact of Green Revolution on environment and agriculture in India? Not the positive ones that we already know that it made India self-sufficient, the other implications.
Ma'am, as far as Green Revolution is concerned, as you said that I only have to list the negative points. Ma'am, the first would be the excessive use of fertilizers. The second would be excessive groundwater over usage. At the social level, I also feel that it has created more inequality. Large farmers versus small farmers, marginal farmers. Apart from that, ma'am, Green Revolution has also brought up regional inequalities also, ma'am. For instance, Western UP, Punjab, Haryana have done better off. Now, ma'am, we have Green Revolution only in specific crops. We are now slowly transitioning away from wheat to evergreen revolution. So, ma'am, these are the points that I can recollect.
Okay, my final question to you. India has invited France as the chief guest for the Republic Day. Can you tell me what are going to be the impact of this on India-France relation, and how has the relation been till now?
India-France relationship has been cordial so far. I think the invitation of French president would bolster the defense ties between two countries. We are collaborating a lot in defense, so that could be one section.
Can you be specific with what have been the major achievements in defense?
Ma'am, I'm unable to recall the name of the aircraft.
Okay, no problem. Continue.
Yeah.
After defense?
Also, ma'am, apart from that, ma'am, maybe ma'am, I'll have to look it up, ma'am. I'll read more.
Okay, no problem. Thank you,
Thank
Akanksha.
Akanksha,
Yes, sir.
your schooling is from Rajendra Vidyalaya, Jamshedpur, right?
Yes, sir.
Jamshedpur has been set up by Tatas as one of the first planned cities of India, right? The Jharkhand government is now planning to hand over the administrative control of Jamshedpur to the Tatas. So, as per you, I mean, what is the relevance of this decision? Whether it will be a good or a bad decision?
Sir, in Jamshedpur, there was a part of Jamshedpur which was always under the Tata control. It was which is called the JUSCO, sir. It supplies water, electricity and so on to the main city hub where the Tata Steel and the other industries operate. So now the question is to expand it to other areas also, sir. So for instance, the place in which I used to live, sir, it used to have acute shortage of water and both electricity. So after JUSCO took over this area, we were getting better supplies. So to that extent, if we include the other parts of Jamshedpur in the outskirts, in the realm of JUSCO under Tatas, then it will be a beneficial step, sir.
Right. You are a professor at one of the colleges of Jharkhand.
Yes, sir.
In which district exactly your college is?
Ranchi district, sir.
Ranchi. Okay, fine. So just in Ranchi, there is a place called Ormanjhi, right?
Yes, sir.
So on a particular day, that is 21st June, at about 12 noon, when you cross this place Ormanjhi, you don't, see your shadow on the ground. Why is it like this?
So Ormanjhi is a place where the Tropic of Cancer passes 23.5 degree north latitude.
Yeah.
Also, sir, because it is a summer solstice, the sun is exactly vertical on the Tropic of Cancer. So it is a zero shadow day for all places on Tropic of Cancer.
Fine. Recently, there is some kind of debate going on in Jharkhand about a bill that has been passed by the Legislative Assembly, that is Local Resident of Jharkhand Bill. As per this, the Khatiyan of 1932 is the defining point. What is your take on that?
So this policy, this piece of legislation by the government has been brought to give more employment to, so to say, the locals of Jharkhand. And the locals are being determined by the 1932 Khatiyan, which is the land records of 1932. I think, sir, it is a useful step, but it should also include some other things, because Jharkhand has a large migrant population also. For instance, a person who has, say, migrated to Jharkhand after the partition from Bihar, he is also equally a resident of Jharkhand, but all of them have been excluded from the reservation policy of class 3 and class 4. So I think if we can somehow make it more holistic in terms of giving benefits of reservation in class 3, class 4 jobs to some other citizens also.
Fine.
Beneficial.
As far as economic development of Jharkhand is concerned, a term is often been used, which is resource curse. What is that? And specifically in context of Jharkhand?
So resource curse is a phenomena by which we are saying that the resource rich areas of a country or a region should ideally develop, but somehow they are not able to reach their potential, and in fact underdevelopment is happening in these areas. So that phenomena is called resource curse. This has taken place in the particular case of Jharkhand. So the reasons which I can think of at this point are, number one, as I said, lack of political stability, lack of skilling of the local people over there to work in those industries, and hence a large migrant population is benefiting and they are not. The tribals over here are very passionate about the rights on land, forest and water. So a lot of time their alienation takes place.
Fine. My last question is that your hobby, one of the hobbies are indoor gardening.
Yes, sir.
So how this is helpful for an administrator? What is the common link between the two?
Sir, in gardening, and especially in indoor gardening, the progress is very slow. Sometimes it needs a lot of patience. So as an administrator, this attribute can come in handy. So should I list more?
No, that's all.
You must have heard about Ujjain, that Ujjain should be considered as a central meridian time point instead of GMT. One of the chief ministers has brought up this issue very recently, last week itself. What are your views on this, and why this demand is there?
Sir, sir, I have not read the exact issue, but I can think of the possible reasons for the demand. So Ujjain, being in Madhya Pradesh, I think its location is central to India. While Allahabad, the Indian Standard Time, which passes through Prayagraj, sir, it is slightly to the eastern side of India. So because of Ujjain's central location, it could have been a demand, sir.
As a student of geography, what do you feel that Greenwich Mean Time should be replaced by the Ujjain Standard Time?
So Greenwich Mean Time, so you're talking about the prime meridian, sir, the central
meridian.
So I think, sir, I think that it is a matter, sir, because whichever meridian we choose, sir, we have to accordingly adjust the local time of different countries. So I think the prime meridian is now established, so we are all in sync with the time zones which are prevalent as of now. Shifting it to Ujjain will create a lot of chaos, sir. So I think it's
okay.
Fine.
One final question. What is the AQI and how it is calculated?
So the air quality index is calculated based on a list of pollutants which are there. I think there are 8, sir. I'll check it up. The oxides of sulfur, carbon monoxide, so on, and particulate matter. So their levels at their amount in the air is calculated, and so that I think National Air Quality Index brings up AQI, sir. I'll just check it up once.
What do you mean by the graded response system?
Yes, sir. The Graded Response Action Plan is an initiative which was directed by the Supreme Court, and it is being brought in use by the Delhi government to fight heightened levels of AQI in the city. So,
okay. Thank you very much. It was nice interacting with you. Your
thank you, sir.
over. You may go now.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Sit down, Akanchha.
Thank you, sir.
Which attempt is this for you?
So this is my first mains and first interview. Overall, it's my 5th attempt, sir.
That's your 5th attempt.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So how have you done in your mains?
So I don't have a frame of reference, sir, to compare, but
still,
I think, yes, sir, I think I have done fine, sir.
You have done fine.
Yes.
Okay. How about today's experience?
So it was okay, sir, but at times I felt that I knew certain details, but I wasn't able to articulate them well. And I was not getting the exact points, sir.
Mhm.
For instance, ma'am asked about France. Now, I knew Rafael deal is there,
because
but
it's very, I mean, it should come to you naturally.
Yes,
Rafael
sir.
and all,
yes,
whether
sir.
you have studied or not,
Yes, it should come.
reader of newspaper can
Yes,
always answer this question, and that's not an issue. Issue is that you should stay honest.
Yes, sir.
If you don't know, doesn't matter.
Okay, sir.
But don't get into the area of entering guesswork.
Okay.
No surmises, no conjectures,
Okay, sir.
because board is selecting a civil servant.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so civil servant has to be a very virtuous person, an honest person. So honesty of purpose must be reflected in all your answers. That is very important. So not knowing, candidly admit, I don't know, doesn't matter. But wherever you know, try to give a very articulate, very focused and answers.
Yes, sir.
That will help you. Crisp answers always help.
Okay, sir.
So that is that. Otherwise, you are an excellent candidate. Let me tell you at the very outset that you are an excellent candidate, and you will be getting good marks in the interview also. Unless you commit some blunder in the interview, you will be getting very good marks, no doubt about it. You are a well-informed person. We try to ask questions on variety of issues, and you are bang on. So not an issue. There are certain things which we would like to tell you just to improve upon your performance. Otherwise, positive points, no point dealing with the positive points. Positives are there in abundance in you, so there is no point. Small slip of tongue.
Yes, sir.
Try to be very
Yes, sir.
careful about that, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Once spoken, you can't take it back.
Yes,
So
sir.
slip of tongue should not happen. Be conscious, because it's only 30 minutes interview, 25 minutes interview. You have to be mentally very, very alert,
Yes, sir.
isn't it? Second is, go through your DAF very carefully. Your interview is on 3rd itself, no?
Yes, sir. It's just next week.
So don't bother much about all that. Whatever I'm suggesting you, just take it with a pinch of salt. Whether what you should do, what you should not do. Yeah, like a UNFCCC,
Yes,
you have
sir.
mentioned,
Yes, sir.
but there you
I
faltered
have not
and you gave a wrong answer also.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You don't know, as I said, don't know doesn't matter. But
Okay, sir.
don't give a wrong answer. Okay.
sir.
Then defense we have discussed, Rafale and all that we have discussed. Jangal Bachao is another movement in Jharkhand. And questions, what type of questions will be asked, nobody can tell you also. But you are from Jharkhand, some questions related to your state may be asked,
Yes, sir.
some specific questions. And then you are from the field of education. So new education policy you should read thoroughly. And a student of geography also. So try to link it to the sustainable development goals. How it is helping, new education policy is helping in achieving sustainable development goals.
Okay, sir.
Naxal movement, tribal movement in Jharkhand, those questions may be asked, may not be asked. We can't tell you. One hackneyed statement which you have given, I'll check it up, isn't it? That's what you say.
Yes, sir.
So this is sort of not very, you should call it very euphemistically. Okay, sir, I'll go back and read about
sir.
it.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So it sounds at times aggressive and offensive. It's better I'll go back and check on this. So that is a very euphemistic way of telling. Otherwise, good candidate, good grasp over the subject, good grasp over various issues. You appeared very confident, no doubt about it. You are confident. Your communication skill is very good. You could communicate your ideas freely, confidently, frankly. That is very good for a prospective civil servant. And in the area of new education policy, if some situational question is asked, try to give some out of box solutions also wherever possible, because in the introduction stage itself you said the problems faced by the state regarding education and all that, you should have a total grip over it. Some questions are asked about the problems of education at the primary level, secondary level, higher studies and all that. You should not be found wanting. Otherwise, 3 days are there.
Yes, sir.
Stay cool, stay calm, stay composed. Go to the interview board with a positive body language, smile on face, look confident with high energy level. And even if you are not able to answer initial 3-4 questions, don't let your energy level go down.
Okay, sir.
Wait for the right time, right question,
Yes.
where you can show your strength,
Yes.
and you will do well, because board is going to be very congenial. Board will like to extract best out of you,
Yes.
and try to give your best wherever you can.
Okay, sir.
Okay, all the best from our side. If you have any questions to ask, feel free to ask.
Sir, I have just one query, sir. When I answer, sir, I sometimes I feel that I'm giving incomplete answers. or-
Incomplete, some statements were unnecessary and contradictory also, like your answer on MPhil.
Huh.
MPhil, you try to blow hot and cold in the same breath,
Sir,
isn't
but
it?
sir, I could have defended MPhil, but sir, since the policy has come,
Whatever it is you are not a policy maker
yes, sir.
today.
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow you may become a part of the policy decision making body,
Yes,
but
sir.
today you are not. As a free citizen of the country, what do you feel about it?
Yes, sir.
So if you feel that there is something positive in it,
Hmm.
go ahead and say that I feel still it is relevant.
Okay.
This is for the government to have taken decision. They would have taken conscious decision after weighing pros and cons of alternatives.
Yes, sir.
But I feel that it's MPhil had its relevance.
Yes, yes, yes.
Matter ends there, or it doesn't
Okay,
have
sir.
any relevance.
Hmm.
Take to one line and stick to that.
Okay, sir.
You can't be yes. So that is what is important, because your steadfastness will also be seen, that quality, whether you are able to